All right, for the warm-up today, I'm just gonna go through some various stretches. Since we only have 30-minute classes right now at the gym, we don't really have the time to do ROMWOD or any other stretching, all that good stuff after class. So the warm-up today, I want you to kind of move through the stuff. I'm gonna go through the different things with you. Do it as many times as you feel like you need to, especially after you're getting back into stuff you might feel pretty sore. Okay, so the one I like to start with is basically a low lunge here. I'm going to plant my hands on the insides of the knees. I'm going to hang out here for a few seconds, maybe count to 5. Then I'm going to roll to the outside of this front foot. I'm going to walk my hands into the other direction. Again, hold it for a count of maybe 3 to 5. I'm going to come back to the center, up onto that back toe. I'm going to twist my torso towards my knee, try to make a straight line with my arms. Hold for a count of 3 to 5, and come back down onto that knee. I'm going to plant the outside hand, pick up that back knee, and I'm going to turn my torso and my head and shoulder towards my knee, towards my body. Try to grab onto that back leg. If that's not possible, even just turning and twisting is good. Reaching back. Send that back leg back down, and we're going to stretch out the front leg now. Try to stretch out the hamstring here, hanging out for a count of 3 to 5, something like that. And then I'm going to take this front knee, drop it in between my hands, and then try to stretch the back leg out as long as I can. If it's helpful, you can lean your arms straight out in front of you, or you can hang out here, whatever feels good. And then I'm just going to switch to the other side. I'm going to spend some time here in the middle, stretching out my calves, maybe from Monday's box jumps, from jumping, all that stuff, cycling the heels. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start with a low lunge here. Plant the hands on the inside of the foot, hanging out for a little bit. And then rolling to the outside of that front foot, walking the hands up and in the opposite direction. Coming back to the center, going up onto that back toe, planting the outside hand and twisting towards the body. Coming back down from here, I'm going to, again, twist my body back, looking back towards this way. If you can pick that back foot up, do that. Coming back to the center, shifting my weight back. Try to keep my hips in line with each other, straightening out that front leg for a runner's lunge, again, that hamstring. And as I bring my knee forward, I'm going to drop it down in between my hands for a pigeon pose. Again, go through this cycle maybe 2 or 3 times on each side. Okay. Also want you to do an ankle quad stretch. You can just stay right here. If it feels okay, you can lean back. You can lean back as much as you need to, as much as feels good, both on the ankles and on the knees. If you can lean all the way back. You could grab a pillow, you could grab anything to set behind you and just kind of lean on so you can relax. Then I actually want you to pick your knees up a little bit, stretch out the front sides of the ankles. You're just going to kind of cycle through there. Okay. Also, it would probably be a good time for some forearm stretches and some wrist stretches if you are tight in your biceps from the pulling that we did. So planting your hands on the ground, rotating your elbows, rotating those elbow pits, rocking back and forth, pointing the elbow pits forward, bringing the hands towards each other and towards the knees. Same thing, rocking back and forth, rotating. Fingertips out towards the sides, rocking side to side. Fingertips back towards your knees. If that feels good, stay there. Otherwise, if you need more of a stretch, send your hips back towards your heels. I would do that a couple of times. I would do a few where I am pulling the fingertips back towards the body. I would do the same thing with the palms down, fingertips back towards the body. Really just stretching out the arms, the shoulders. I also like the one where we're sitting down, pointing the fingertips back towards the knees, and then stretching out the shoulders by leaning back. And then you can stretch the chest and the biceps by pressing the palms into the ground, straightening out the arms, going back and forth. Same thing with the fingertips pointed the other direction. You can bend your elbows here and give you a good wrist stretch, and then a bicep stretch and chest stretch this way. Okay. Another good shoulder stretch here would be laying on the ground in our scorpion position. So I'm gonna have my arms out at a T. I'm gonna show you what it looks like from the one side. I'm gonna bring this right arm in, the other arm is out long, and I'm gonna bring the front leg, that same leg, and try to set it on the ground behind that other knee. So I'm just stretching back and forth, stretching through the shoulders, hanging out, spending some time wherever that feels good. Another one that'll make it a little bit stronger into the shoulder is to keep this arm bent. As you're pushing up and over, I'll bring a little bit more stronger stretch into the shoulder, maybe into the elbow, all that good stuff. And then I'd spend some time in seal, where you're just pressing up. If that's too much of a back bend, you can go onto your forearms here, stretching out the abs, maybe moving a little bit, breathing, trying to unclench or unsqueeze anything that is tight. Really try to relax the whole torso here. And then maybe I do a single leg quad stretch here. So I'm gonna have one knee back, the other leg forward, and just leaning back to wherever feels good, stretching out those quads, trying to relax, spend some time in each of those positions. All right. Again, maybe go through that 2 times, 3 times, really just spend some time on mobility.